Hey, what's up everyone? This week I want to talk to you about code snippets in Xcode. Maybe some of you actually remember that I've already made a video on the topic last summer. At the time, I wanted to show you how we could use a code snippet to automate writing one of the major source of boilerplate when working with closures. And this week I want us to keep exploring this topic and focus on creating code snippets that will be tailor-made for the specific needs of a code base. So let's begin by taking a look at the code behind me. As you can see, I've started writing the code for a view controller. And you can notice that this view controller doesn't use a storyboard or a zip to create its subview, but rather it creates them in code. And this means that for each subview, we are going to have this pattern of a private lazy property with the subview being instantiated and configured inside a closure. And when we take a look at the two existing properties, we see that there are definitely a lot of similarities between them. The declaration look a lot alike. Each closure begins by creating the new instance. Then there is some common configuration. As you can see, both subviews set the property translates autoresizing mask into constraints to false. After that, we have some specific configuration for each specific subview. And then finally, we return the new subview. And so when you see that kind of code, it definitely makes a lot of sense to create a code snippet. This way, we don't have to write all this syntax by hand every time we want to create a new subview. So let's do it and create this code snippet. So for that, I need to select my code. Then I do a right click on it and I select create code snippet. And this opens a new window with my new code snippet. So I'm going to begin by giving that code snippet a name. I've named it create subview. After that, I'm going to set the shortcut I will use to instantiate my code snippet. So here, once again, is going to be create subview. And finally, I'm going to set in which kind of scopes will my snippet be available. Here, since my snippet is about adding a property to a class, I'm going to set it to only be available in a class implementation. And now let's focus on the actual code inside the snippet. First, I'm going to begin by fixing the indentation. Okay, that's already better. Then I'm going to select the 3 lines that contain the specific configuration for the subviews I had in my example, and I'm going to remove them because, of course, I don't want to have this code every time I create a new subview. Then I'm going to make it so that it's going to be really easy to write the name of the new property. And for this, I'm going to use what Xcode calls a placeholder. So first, I'm going to rename the property. So I'm going to call it property name. And then I'm going to turn this string into a placeholder. And so to do this, I need to put this tag at the beginning of the string and that tag at the end of it. And that's it, property name has now become a placeholder. And what's great with placeholders is that when we use our snippet, the editor in Xcode is going to select them automatically. And this way, we'll just have to write on the keyboard to replace property name with the actual name of the property. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the type of the subview. So here I'm going to call it type and I'm going to turn type also into a placeholder. I'm going to also use the placeholder right here. And as for the name of the local variable here, I'm actually not going to use a placeholder, and you will understand why in a moment. And instead, I'm just going to rename it to new subview. And that's it, my custom code snippet is now ready. I can save it and start using it. So let's try and use our new custom code snippet. And let's say that I want to create a new subview, which is going to be a stack view that will hold both the greetings label and the profile image view. So first, I have to invoke my code snippet. So I do it by starting writing the completion string I set just a moment ago. So it's create subview. And now I just have to hit enter. And as you can see, Xcode is going to expand my code snippet. And now I just have to use the placeholders first to set the property name. So it's going to be stack view. And then I'm going to set also the type of the property, which is going to be UI stack view. And as I start typing the name, you're going to see one of the strong limitations of placeholders in Xcode, which is that even though we can have several placeholders sharing the same name, they still are independent in the eyes of Xcode. And so setting a value for one doesn't set a value for the others. Here, I don't think it's that much of an issue because we just have to copy the name of the type, select the other placeholder and paste it. But now you understand why I didn't create a placeholder for the local variable, because if I had, I would have had to set a value for it 3 times here, here, and here. And of course, this is not efficient. And there is actually a better way to proceed here, which is just to do a command click on the local variable, select edit all in scope, and set the correct name, which is going to be stack view. And so now you understand why I haven't been using a placeholder for these instances. And that's it, we are done with using our code snippet. Now all that's left for me to do is to actually write the custom configuration code that is specific to my stack view. So I'm just going to paste it, and that's it, my stack view has been successfully implemented. As you can imagine, if we are working in a project that creates its UI in code, we are going to be creating a lot of new subviews each day, and so having a custom code snippet that makes it faster is going to save us a lot of time. And what's even better is that it's actually very easy to share a custom code snippet with other developers. Because every time we create a new custom code snippet, Xcode is going to save it in a new file in this directory. So you basically just have to go in this directory, copy the file to the repo of your project, and then other developers just have to install this file, and they will also be able to use your custom code snippet in their Xcode. And you could actually make that process even more seamless by writing a script that would automatically save and install the custom code snippets. And that's all I wanted to share with you this week on the topic of code snippets in Xcode. As always, if you are already using custom code snippets in your projects and you found some cool use cases, please share them with me in the comments. Thank you for watching the video and see you next time.